Hey, Hoops fans, welcome back to Tips and Streams, your ultimate WNBA betting destination. I'm your host, Kokon, and I'm pumped to dive into today's action-packed episode. We're gearing up for a deep analysis and some sharp predictions. But before we break down today's matchup, smash that subscribe button to stay in the loop with our forecasts. And if you dig our insights and today's WNBA game predictions, show some love by liking, sharing, or doing both. Stay locked in as we roll into today's WNBA betting picks on Tips and Streams. Today we have predictions for two WNBA games. The first prediction for today is for a game between the Dallas Wings and Seattle Storm. The Dallas Wings are set to clash with the Seattle Storm in a highly anticipated Western Conference showdown at Climate Pledge Arena. The Wings, currently holding a 4-14 record, are struggling at the bottom of the standings. Meanwhile, the Storm, with a solid 12-6 record, are securely in second place and eager to maintain their dominant form. The Dallas Wings have faced a challenging season, grappling with injuries and consistency issues. Despite these hurdles, Arike Ogunbowale has been a standout performer, averaging an impressive 23.9 points per game, along with 5 assists and 4.7 rebounds. However, the Wings' offensive efficiency has been lackluster, ranking 7th in points per game with 80.3 and 6th in field goal percentage at 43.6%. Their three-point shooting is a particular weakness, as they sit 9th in the league at 31.2%. Turnovers have been a significant issue for Dallas, leading the league with 16.1 per game. Defensively, they have allowed an average of 84 points per game, highlighting their vulnerabilities. Key injuries to players like Maddie Siegrist and Jaylen Brown have further complicated their season. In stark contrast, the Seattle Storm have been one of the league's powerhouses, holding second place in the Western Conference. Jewel Lloyd has been phenomenal, averaging 19.9 points per game, supported by Skylar Diggins-Smith, who averages 14.2 points and 3.8 assists per game. Ezi Magbagor has been a defensive force with 1.6 steals and 2.2 blocks per game, adding to her 13.5 points per game. Seattle's offense is averaging 84 points per game, and they lead the league in rebounds with 36.4 per game. Defensively, the Storm are formidable, allowing just 76 points per game, and they are the top team in blocked shots with 5.7 per game. The Storm also excel in steals, averaging 10.2 per game, the highest in the league, showcasing their ability to disrupt opponents' offenses. The Wings' recent form has been dreadful, losing 12 of their last 13 games, including 8 straight on the road. They come into this matchup after a 97-76 loss to the Storm on Saturday, where Ogunbowale's 24 points couldn't prevent another heavy defeat. The Wings are only 7-11 against the spread this season and have struggled to find any rhythm, particularly away from home. On the other hand, the Storm have won 8 of their last 11 games and are on a 7-game home winning streak. Their defense has been particularly impressive, ranking 4th in points allowed per game and 3rd in field goal defense. The Storm are 12-6 against the spread and have been dominant in recent matchups against the Wings, winning both games this season by significant margins. Looking at head-to-head matchups, the Storm have consistently outperformed the Wings in recent years, especially at home. The last 5 games between these two teams in Seattle have all ended in favor of the Storm, with an average margin of victory of 15 points. The Wings' last win in Seattle dates back several seasons, underlining the difficulty they face in this venue. Injury reports heavily favor the Storm, who have no significant injuries to report. The Wings, however, will be without key players such as Maddie Siegrist, Satu Sabali, and Jaylen Brown, further diminishing their chances. Statistically, the Storm have a clear advantage in almost every category. They have a higher field goal percentage, better three-point shooting, and superior offensive and defensive rebounding. The Wings' turnover issues and defensive struggles make them particularly vulnerable against a well-rounded and disciplined Storm team. The outcome of the game will likely hinge on the Wings' ability to limit turnovers and improve their defensive efficiency. However, given their current form and the significant statistical advantages held by the Storm, it is difficult to envision a scenario where the Wings can pull off an upset. Having just suffered a blowout at the hands of the Storm, the Wings are likely to face a similar fate here. Expect the Seattle Storm to win and cover the 10.5-point spread. With their balanced offense, stout defense, and home court advantage, the Storm are the clear favorites in this matchup. I'm taking the Seattle Storm to win and cover the spread. The second prediction for today is for a game between the Connecticut Sun and Phoenix Mercury. Tonight, the Connecticut Sun are squaring off against the Phoenix Mercury at the Footprint Center in a highly anticipated WNBA showdown. The Sun, second in the East with a 14-4 record, have hit a rough patch recently, dropping 3 of their last 4 games. Their latest 78-74 loss to the Atlanta Dream underscored their offensive struggles, despite DeWanna Bonner's 17-point effort. Bonner, who averages 16.7 points per game, remains a consistent force alongside Alyssa Thomas, who contributes 12.2 points, 9.4 rebounds, and 7.6 assists per game. Connecticut's top-ranked defense, allowing only 73.1 points per game, will need to be in peak form to contain the high-scoring Mercury. On the flip side, the Phoenix Mercury, fourth in the West with a 9-8 record, have been resilient, particularly at home where they boast a 7-3 record. Their recent 92-78 victory over the Los Angeles Sparks showcased their offensive prowess. Kaylia Copper, leading the team with 22.7 points per game, was pivotal in this win, and Brittany Griner's presence in the paint, averaging 19.3 points and 7.6 rebounds, adds a formidable edge. However, the Mercury's defense, allowing 84.6 points per game, has been their Achilles heel, ranking 9th in the league. Statistically, the Sun's field goal percentage of 43.8% slightly edges out the Mercury's 42.4%. Phoenix holds a minor advantage in three-point shooting, converting 33% of their attempts compared to Connecticut's 30.8%. Rebounding is nearly even, with both teams averaging around 33 rebounds per game. The Suns' defense will be critical, particularly their perimeter defense, as the Mercury averaged 9.5 three-pointers per game, one of the highest in the league. Historically, the Sun have dominated recent matchups, including a commanding 70-47 victory earlier this season. In their last 5 encounters at the Footprint Center, the Sun have emerged victorious 3 times. This venue has posed challenges for the Mercury against Connecticut, and they will need to reverse this trend to secure a win tonight. A key factor will be the Suns' ability to limit turnovers. Averaging 12.1 turnovers per game, they must be cautious with the ball against a Mercury team that thrives on opponents' mistakes. The Suns' defense, which forces 16 turnovers per game, will aim to disrupt the Mercury's flow and create scoring opportunities through transition. In terms of injuries, the Mercury will miss Charisma Osborne due to a foot injury, while the Sun will be without Mariah Jefferson, sidelined with an ankle issue. These absences could impact both teams' rotations, particularly the Mercury's backcourt depth. Phoenix will be playing on a back-to-back, a scenario in which they have struggled this season. The fatigue factor could play a significant role, especially against a well-rested Connecticut team. Historically, the Mercury have shown a dip in performance in such situations, often leading to slower starts and defensive lapses. The Suns' balanced scoring attack, with 4 players averaging double figures, provides a multifaceted offensive threat. They will need to exploit the Mercury's defensive weaknesses, particularly in the paint where Griner can't cover everything. Alyssa Thomas's playmaking and rebounding will be crucial in setting the tempo and controlling the game's pace. Given the statistics and recent form, the Connecticut Sun have a slight edge in this matchup. Their superior defensive metrics, combined with Phoenix's inconsistency on the defensive end, suggest that the Sun will be able to contain the Mercury's offensive weapons. This will be a key advantage for Connecticut, but whether it will be enough to win remains uncertain, especially considering the Mercury's fatigue from playing back-to-back games. Predicting the winner of this game is challenging, so it seems that betting on the total points might be easier. The Mercury are averaging 82.4 points per game and are likely to keep up the scoring. The Sun, averaging 79.8 points per game, should also have no problem scoring against the Mercury's defense. Both teams are expected to play minimal defense, which will make the difference. Bet on the total points to go over the set line of 171 points.